Well, I've got up this morning about 8 o'clock, was laying in the bed still, and I posted my truck on Internet Truck Stop and DAT. And I haven't had zero calls. I did have one call. Guess who it was from? TQL. They always call, but that was only about 5 minutes ago. And the load was 48,000 pound load of lumber. You know, I got my truck listed at a 42,000 pound weight limit. So don't call me on anything over 42.5. That's what I think I got it listed at. So the first thing I asked him, I said, where's it picking up? Where's it delivering? And I asked him what it was. He said lumber. Next question was, how much does it weigh? 48,000 pounds. And I told him I can't do it. It's too heavy. It's listed in the posting. So let's just look at this right here. I'm going to edit the search. I got it going from Augusta, Georgia to anywhere. And if you see the destination right there, I've got all the states listed. I get tired of seeing Florida because I don't even want to go to Florida. Every load, because when you start searching by highest per mile, it always puts all the loads going to Florida at the top of the board. I don't even want to see them because even then it's only like $2.80 or $3.10 a mile. That ain't enough to go to Miami and come back, so I don't even want to see them. And I got to wade through all that stuff to get to the other stuff. So look at here, Augusta, Georgia to Suffolk, Virginia. This is my drive-in. So you see the little V right here? That shows you that, and the V right there. So that's my drive-in search. So let's go back in to edit the search, step deck, and search loads in the step deck division. Look at it, I got one load for the step deck. It's picking up in Williston, South Carolina, going to Woodstock, Georgia, paying 750 bucks. So the load picks up about 40 miles away, and then once I pick it up, it's delivering 220 miles away. So you got close to 300 miles, just a tad under 300 miles for 750 bucks. Where is Woodstock? Now that ain't too bad, 750. But it's going to take the rest of the day. It's already 11 o'clock. So by the time I get that picked up, I won't make the delivery today. It'll be tomorrow morning before I can even deliver it. And it's going north of Atlanta. That's the only other good thing, is it's more closer to where there's other loads. Because if you look up here under my search results, I'm looking at loads within 50 miles of me. So I'm going to spread that search out to 150 miles. By doing 150 miles, that puts loads in Atlanta, that puts loads in Savannah, that puts loads almost maybe up in Charlotte. That brings in the searches from Charlotte to Savannah to Atlanta, even Spartanburg and Greenville, South Carolina. Greenville in that area. So now I'm going to search. Now I have 104 loads, which is not a good ratio. Not when you're doing an area this big, because I mean there should be 100 loads just in Atlanta, or way more than that. There should be more loads than that even in Atlanta. In Savannah, there should be more than 100 loads coming in at the ports and the freight around Savannah area. But let's just take a look. Okay, now the closest one to me, or the best paying, highest paying one, is Savannah, Georgia to Salisbury, North Carolina, because I've got my sort by at the highest per mile rate. So when you look at that, it's $3.40 a mile. Now, if I was in Savannah, that wouldn't be too bad. It's 42,000 pounds. It's right at my weight limit. It's $1,000. I could pick it up and deliver it today. It's 300 miles. But for me to get in my truck and drive all the way to Savannah, which is 2.5 hours away, then pick the load up and then take it 5 hours, you already got 7 hours into the load. And then you got to load it. Yeah, I don't know. That one's, if I was in Savannah, that would be okay. Tennille, Georgia to North Carolina, Chester, South Carolina. See, that's another. All these loads, if you look at that section in parentheses right under the town where it's picking up at, that's how many miles I got a deadhead to go get the loads. So you got one in Tennille, Georgia, 67 miles away, going to Wilmington, North Carolina. That one ain't too bad. 330 miles. But let's see. Yeah, Wilmington, the only thing about Wilmington, you look at that right there, See, the green dot right there is where I'm at. So I got to backtrack to Tennille to get it. Then I got to go back through my town, and Wilmington is all the way over there at the coastline of North Carolina. You can see it right there, all the way at the coastline. And there's never ever anything in that area of Wilmington to pick up. If I go to Wilmington, let's just do a quick search. I'm just going to prove my point. I don't even really like to waste my time. Edit search, Wilmington, W-I-L-M-I, Wilmington, North Carolina. So I've got 150 miles of Wilmington, and there's 30 loads within that 150 mile radius of Wilmington. There's a load picking up 150 miles away going to New York for $1,500. That's garbage. There's a load going back down to Savannah, New Bern, 90 miles away. Now that ain't too bad. That picks up actually tomorrow, $1,100 going back down. But it says $2.85 a mile. But when you add the extra 100 into it, you're at 400. You're at, almost at 400. So you're at 5. So you're barely over 2. So that 285 turns into like $2.10 a mile. I don't know. This is just busy work. You're barely making a company wage salary at those things. You're not making what you should be making as an owner operator running a business. You know, you're making what a company driver should make. There's TQL again. Let's see what they got. Hello, it's Billy.
Hey, this is Corey calling with TQL. I was calling to see if you had a flat or a step deck available in the Augusta, Georgia area.
Yes, ma'am. What you got?
Yeah, I got a load here. It's picking up in Chester, South Carolina, delivering to American Canyon, California. Would you be interested?
What is it?
Commodity looks like it's a truckload of building materials. We'll pick up today by 1 o'clock and deliver on Thursday between 6:30 and 3, first come, first serve. Weight 40,000. Would you be able to scale that?
Yeah, I can scale 40.
Okay. All right. What kind of rate would you be looking for? I can see if I can get you some approved.
To go out to California, probably around like $2.40 a mile.
Okay.
So what's the mileage out there?
Looks like it's at 2650. Give me 1 second. That's around 5,900.
Yeah, around 55-ish. I'm around 55, 56.
Looks like he's trying to stay around 5 for now. If anything changes, I'll give you a call.
All right, appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
When I told her $2.40 a mile, that's a decent rate, especially with a long run like that. The thing is once you get out to California, there's very limited freight out there right now too. I just came back from California for $1.70 a mile, but I only came back at $1.70 a mile because, you know, I just had the melanoma cancer removed on my arm. They took a big old section. They looked like this. They cut a big chunk out of my arm, like a football over here. Anyway, the wound was only 2 weeks old, 10 days old. I flew out to California, wanted to book a load to bring my truck back home. Now I've been home for another week, so the wound's now 3 weeks old. Also got a patch under my arm right here where they took a lymph node out. My arm it's still sore. When I raise my arm over my head, the wound itself don't hurt. What hurts is my arm. Down my arm over here, when I raise my arm up, you can even see the ligament right there. Got 3 little tiny wires right there. And when I push my arm, it burns. All the way from here, all the way up to the middle of my forearm. This whole section down here just burns. When I raise my arm up, it stretches. I don't know what it's stretching. Because the surgery was under here, and then the other wound was back over here. You can see that the little spot right there is where the actual melanoma cancer was at. And I don't understand that either. They cut me from up here all the way to down here. And they took out that whole section where the cancer was actually at. But yet it still is very red in the, there was just a freckle there, a little mole. That's kind of weird how even after they took it out, there's still a spot where the mole was at. Because they actually, and it looks worse now than it did when the dermatologist shaved it off. Because when she shaved it off, she just took a little razor, a little straight razor that's about 4 inches long, 5, 6 inches, and she bent it like a U and just scooped it. She just kind of like cut it, and it actually healed up before they even did that. They sent that piece off to the laboratory to be biopsied, and now, because when they came back and did the surgery, they cut it like the shape of a football. They cut it out and around and out and around. Then they pulled the skin back together. So you would think that it would just be a clear wound all the way down. Why is it still a big red spot there in the middle? It's kind of strange. I don't get it. Just hoping there ain't more cancer that was under the skin. I don't know. Makes me nervous. It's melanoma. Melanoma is very, very aggressive. As long as it wasn't misdiagnosed, and it probably wasn't. I don't know. I'm not a cancer expert. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. Didn't look like I was going to find any loads here today. So I came out here and washed the truck. It's a job washing this thing. The hard part is getting around this breather behind these smokestacks, all the way to the top of the smokestacks, behind the smokestack. You can't use a brush and get back in here, so you got to use your hands to get up in here. Down around these tanks, got to get on the inside. The inside's over here. The inside's down behind the steps. I even get this exhaust pipe down here on the bottom. When you get back here to the back, it's really a big pain, because you got to get the frame rail. It's hard to really get down into the frame rail real good. Mirrors, got to get the rods around the back of the mirrors, the top of this little smokestack, around the back side of this smokestack. I mean, you don't even think about it, but back up in here between these little brackets and back up in here, you can't, you know, it ain't perfect. I never do a perfect job. I don't know how these guys who got nice trucks like this that are mirrorless shine, I don't know how they do it. Uh-oh, I got a broker. Let's see what he's got to say. Oh, it's my favorite brokers.
Yes.
Hey, I was trying to answer the phone. I don't know if I hung up on you or if I missed your call.
That's all right. Hey, where are you at?
I'm here at the house.
Any use for a Brunswick, Georgia tomorrow, going up to Paris, Kentucky?
Picking up where?
Picking up at Brunswick, down at the port.
Yeah, I could probably do something like that. I'm looking to get out of the house today. I couldn't find anything. I started to call you guys this morning, see what y'all had going on. What is it?
I got 2 crates. I got one crate's 14 long, 7 wide, 10-6 tall. The other one is 8 foot long, 6 foot wide, 6 foot tall. No, 7 foot wide, 6 foot tall. All legal. Needs a tarp on it.
And what's the total length of the two combined? I didn't pay attention.
14 and 8, 22 feet.
22 feet or so? Okay.
Yep.
And what's the weight on the total?
Under 10,000. It's like 9,744 pounds.
Okay. And the width is right at 7-8 feet?
7 foot.
7 foot.
Yep. These are just some crated machines that we've been doing. We don't have to fully tarp. It just needs to be, mostly tarp. Like if you have an 8 foot drop tarp, there's a couple feet on the bottom. We're good with that.
Okay. Yeah, I'd probably do something like that for you.
Okay, 2150 work on 676 miles. What I had the last guy booked for, but then
Yeah.
It's
just so far down there. It ain't that. I mean, yeah, it's a good rate. From Brunswick to here is about 3 hours. But no, it ain't quite that. Yeah, it's probably about 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
What would you feel comfortable with?
I mean, I'm good with that. Well, I mean, if I said 25, would y'all make any profit on that, or? It's 6.
Did you make 23?
20. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that for you.
Okay.
I like you guys. I don't mind. I want to beat nobody up.
All right. Okay, I'll send it over.
All right. I appreciate you. Thanks.
Thanks, sir.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. That's the way a load broker should call you. That's the way they should call you right there. That's. I got to drive. Just drop the phone. Brunswick, Georgia. It's a little south of Savannah. It ain't too far. Savannah's 2.5 hours. It's yeah, Savannah's about 2 hours. It's probably about 2.5 hours to get down to Brunswick. And then he's got a load going to Kentucky. I didn't even think about which route I got to take. But more than likely, I'll just go back up Interstate 16 and around. I'll look at it later. But it's probably going around to, probably go up through Atlanta and then go up to Kentucky that way. It's probably going to be my most easiest route to take. So I got a load for tomorrow. I like booking loads like that also in advance. I'm getting slow in my old age and grumpy. Slow and grumpy.